Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here and welcome back to the Retro Future. Today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is an adapter for your Game Boy Advance SP that allows you to play Famicom cartridges on it. Quite why anyone would want this is beyond me, especially because Nintendo actually made a classic like Famicom or NES, if you're anywhere else in the world, series that allowed you to play ported Famicom games on your Game Boy Advance SP, which were running natively and they were designed to play on the Game Boy. But let's take a look at it. So GameTech are responsible for making quite a lot of crap, to be honest with you, but they are pioneers. They don't quite hit the mark. A lot of people haven't heard of this, including myself. I've sent it to a few of my friends and they have never ever seen this before. But yeah, unfortunately we're not gonna be able to read any of the writing on the box, but let's not even look at the box. We don't need to look at the box. We know what it's going to do, so let's see it do it and see if it's any good. So inside it, you get a bunch of other things that we can't read, which is lovely. Although one thing I really did like is that on the box, they've designed the new Game Boy. Look, it's got a circle pad and 3 action buttons. So the device itself is fairly solid. It does feel like it's using good plastic. The only problem is these little rubber tab things have literally just fallen off, but that's okay. I'm going to remove them because they've been really annoying, like whilst trying to test this thing, but I'll just be able to glue them back on again afterwards. So your Game Boy slips into here, which is quite cool. You know, this is a very awesome device, the fact that they've actually managed to get this thing to work with this. Unfortunately, it requires 4 AA batteries to actually work, so it's not just going to use power from the Game Boy, because I'm guessing, well, there must be a full Famicom system inside of this thing. And when we look on the back of it, it says 2004 GameTech. So the Game Boy Advance SP was around 2003. These things just plug straight into the back like that, which gives you quite the package. It's not really the most portable thing anymore. So I don't know for sure how this thing works. There's 2 things that's either going on here, obviously. It's either using the screen and the buttons from the Game Boy, and then, you know, when you plug that in, it's just speaking to the Game Boy through the cartridge port, which is why it's got its own batteries, because essentially this is an entire Famicom system without a screen or a controller. Or it is actually emulating the Famicom on here somehow. I really don't know. I mean, let me know in the comments below, because I would be interested to know as well, but unfortunately I don't have the knowledge to be able to tell you this information. But all we know is that it works. It does require a cartridge to be plugged into the bottom, and that is to bypass the Nintendo security lock feature for copyright and aftermarket stuff, exactly like this. Look at that, you're in. There you are, Famicom on the Game Boy Advance SP. Alright, here we go. So, in terms of the speed, it seems absolutely on point. Which really does make me think that there is actually some sort of like hardware clone inside this thing. But the sound is like one of those meme compilation audio tracks, you know, where they like distort everything heavily. Because that's exactly what's going on here. And I've got a little speaker here just to plug in and show you that it's not the poor speaker quality. I mean, that slightly improves things, but you don't really want to have to carry that around with you. And through the headphones, it's worse, except closer to your ears, so even more painful. But, you know what? It does work. There's not a lot of like, glitches. I'm not really noticing any sort of, like, glitches. There's a few sort of visual artifacts, but I think that's probably more so from the build quality and the connection between the Game Boy and the Famicom system, which is plugged into the bottom of it. But yeah, this is fairly playable, and, I think this is really damn cool. I would love them to have done a Super Nintendo one. That would be insane, but I can imagine that would have required quite a lot more. But yeah, it works very well. I don't know how much this would have retailed for back in the day, but it's certainly a cool device. Oh no! Yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had here, and if you'd spent loads of money on a Famicom and a bunch of games, and you have this massive games library, to be able to take that with you portably, it's very nice, albeit the quality is not fantastic. But could you imagine if Nintendo would have made this themselves, how amazing that would have been. But I'm sure they don't really want to be constantly selling the old games. But let me show you another copy, another Famicom game. This is the original Mario Bros, which we can now play on every device ever. There's quite a bit of interference that I notice on the screen in this. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. There we go. Yeah, you definitely can. And I'm not sure what that is, but I've never been able to get rid of that. So that does make me think that I'm just using the screen of the Game Boy and the buttons of the Game Boy, and then the rest of it's going, the rest of whatever's happening is inside the actual device itself. Very interesting little thing. But yeah, I mean, there we go. That is the Famicom adapter for the Game Boy by GameTech. A really, really cool device. It has to be said, it's not perfect, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. The fact that it even works is very impressive, and it is fully playable. This is far better than some of those cheap handhelds, especially the crappy 1000-in-1 ones off of Amazon and whatnot. This is a very, very playable thing, and there's a lot of fun Famicom games out there. They're very nice and simple. Don't require a lot of mind, thought, and energy to play them. Good grief! Did you hear that? That was awful. Yeah, this is a really cool thing. So, GameTech, you legends, this is a very cool thing. I like it. What do you reckon? Is this a Famicom inside here, and it's just using the buttons and the screen from the Game Boy? Or is something far more advanced going on, and the Game Boy is actually emulating the Famicom, and this thing's just reading the games? I don't know, I'm not that clever. I hope you've all enjoyed the video and that you've enjoyed finding out more about crazy Game Boy accessories. If you did, please consider subscribing and like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Goodbye!